Oh man, this is a motherfucking Take Quatchy Mamaloney jackpot right here.
Jimmy, what are you doing here? You lock your keys in the truck? You lock your keys in the truck?
Yeah, dude.
This fucking
Lock the keys
Ramalama.
in the truck,
Lock
dude.
the fucking keys in the
truck's
truck.
on too.
Come on, man.
The keys are in.
I know it's on. I hear it. Welcome back to the channel. We're working on Timmy's 3500 Silverado 2018. Timmy's back on the channel. We're gonna put some illuminated door handles on this truck. Now, if you haven't seen the illuminated door handles on my truck, here's a small clip. And that's mine. Different look. And as you can see, this truck didn't come with them. None of them do. These are chrome, and we're gonna put the illuminated door handles off a Cadillac Escalade. Why do we do that, Timmy? What's the reason for that?
It looks better.
Because it looks freaking hard, that's why. So we're gonna do the driver's side and show you guys how to do that. The passenger side, we already did it. As you can see here, the handles are all installed. They do light up just like you saw in that video. The button is inoperable. It's never gonna work, so it's kind of just a dead button. But the handles look great on their own, just pretty much based off that light. At night they look amazing, and I've broken a lot of necks in my truck just because of those handles. Not a lot of people have them. Have you seen anybody else with those handles? I'm sure there's a couple of you guys out there in the States, but there's not a lot of people. So Timmy's gonna get them today. He's been begging me for like a year already, and Timmy's an awesome dude, so we're happy to help him out. We're gonna install them on the driver's side. We're gonna show you guys what you need, how to install them, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, this is a 10 or a 9 out of 10 when it comes to difficulty as far as, you know, hands-on stuff. So if you're not good with your hands and working on cars and doing this kind of things, you might want to have somebody else do it for you. If not, give it a try. Let's see if you learn something today, because it's actually really hard. How long did it take us to do the passenger side?
Probably like 3 hours.
About 3 hours. So it's a very labor intensive, and I've already done it before and I know what I'm doing. So, but definitely a weekend project. So let me show you guys what you're gonna need, and we'll get to it right now. What you're gonna need is a 7mm, a 10mm, an extension, one of these plastic tools to help get the door panels off, a pocket screwdriver because that's your best friend. You're gonna need some heat shrink to cover up the wiring once you solder it together, because we're gonna be soldering all the wiring. We're gonna use these connectors to connect the handle to the wiring harness. We're gonna need some zip ties, some cutters. This is the dual strand wiring that we're gonna be using. This is gonna be our positive and our negative. We're gonna be running these illuminated door handles onto the park lamp lights. So every time you turn on your park lights, they're gonna turn on with the park lights. So the handles will be on when your headlights are on, pretty much. So this is a nylon sleeving that we're using to protect the wire. This is 1/8, but we don't recommend 1/8. We recommend getting 1/4 because this was a little too small and we had a hard time putting the wire through the 1/8 sleeving. You're gonna need the handles, obviously. We're going from chrome handles to illuminated white handles. So these, you can get them on eBay. We got the whole set. How much did you pay for the set?
It was like 300 bucks.
So 300 bucks for the set, plus he had to get them painted to match his truck because they used to be red. So not a big deal. You can just take these apart, have them, your local painter paint them, and then you can move on to what we're doing today. So like I said, you're gonna need these connectors to connect the wiring to the handle. You're gonna need another roll of wiring that's gonna run the rear doors to the front doors. We're gonna get the park signal circuit using this wiring. Also gonna need some knives to cut some of the existing wiring up. You're gonna need a soldering iron, a torch, some wire strippers, and you may need some electrical tape and some solder, or you're gonna need it. All right, so the one thing that you're gonna have to get from the junkyard, or possibly from a buddy who has an extra harness, is the terminals out of these harnesses. So one side of this belongs to the body side connector at the door jamb. The other side is the door side connector for the door jamb. So if I take these apart, this is what you find on the door jamb for the body side. So you don't need the connector, you just need a terminal. So what you're gonna have to do is pretty much cut it apart like I did on this one and snake out one of the terminals, and we're gonna need these for the rear doors. So the reason we're gonna use these is because, well, I'll show you guys later, we're gonna have to put these terminals into the connector, the existing connectors on the rear doors. So this is the door side connector. Same thing, you're gonna wanna cut it up like I did this one, and you're gonna wanna pull out a terminal from there. So you need 4 terminals in total. 2 of these, and then 2 of these. And that's pretty much gonna be all you're gonna need for the rear doors.
Now I just want to give a quick shout out to my Nino Julian. He actually painted these for me. He got down. Thank you.
All right, so the first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna prep the handles for installation. Now these connectors are the OEM connectors, and these connectors will go into the door harness on like a Chevy Tahoe or an Escalade that has that type of connector. I have never been able to find the female side of the connector, so what we're gonna do is just gonna cut this off completely, and we're gonna run these. Now these aren't water resistant, but a little electrical tape will take care of that, and we should be able to solder these on and use these as our connectors. So the red wire we're not gonna use. We're only gonna use 2 wires. We're gonna use the blue and the white, and that's pretty much your positive and your negative for your LED handle, for your LED. The rest of the buttons are used for the switch, which we're not gonna be using because you can't add passive lock to these trucks. And then this handle has 5 wires, and the same thing, we're only gonna use the blue and white ones. The rest of the wires are, like I said, the button. And the front handles on the Escalade have an antenna in them, so that's what the other extra wires are for. But you're not gonna use those, so just cut them off. So if you see one has 3 wires and one has 5 wires, don't worry about all the wires except for the 2 ones that we're gonna be using to light up the handles, and that's gonna be the blue and the white. The rest of them, you could cut them off or cut them to the side and not worry about them. So like I said, you have white and you have blue. Those are the 2 wires we're gonna be using. The blue is gonna be your ground, the white is gonna be the positive. So once you match up your connectors like these, you're gonna match up the positive to the white and the black to the blue. And I'm gonna show you guys how I solder them. So first things first, you're gonna always wanna put some heat shrink. So next we'll strip the wires on the handle, and then we'll match them up. So red is gonna go with white, and blue is gonna go with black, and we'll solder them. So the whole thing on this project, the hardest thing is gonna be getting these terminals like I was saying, but you should be able to find them at the junkyard. If not, you know, you can maybe look online, see, there's some people out there that actually make custom harnesses for like swapping over from regular mirrors to camper mirrors. Some people make custom harnesses, so maybe you can contact them. I usually go on the GM Trucks forum. They actually have a lot of good information on there. While the torch is heating up, we're gonna do positive and negative wires here, and then the connector plugs into this harness that we're making. All right, so the harness side of it, and what's gonna be a pretty lengthy wire, that's gonna be very similar situation. You're gonna get your positive and your positive, and your negative and your negative, so red and red, black and black, and we're gonna solder those on. So just make sure that you're soldering on, I know, a male side on one side and then a female side on the other side, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter as long as you can plug them in while they're in the truck. All right, once you solder the wires just like that, you see they're nice and covered. There's a little strand here. You cover them up with the heat shrink like that. Make sure it's on the center. And then all you gotta do is heat up the heat shrink, and that'll cover them up. You could use electrical tape, but over time electrical tape comes off and you don't want to use that. You want to use some nice heat shrink, and then you can just cover it up with electrical tape, just, you know, to keep it secure. So I'm gonna solder the rest of the connectors on these wires, and then we'll move on to taking off the door panels. I'm gonna show you guys how to take the door panels off and then how to put the handles on, followed by wiring the actual handles. So stay tuned. So to take the door panel off on the front door, take 2. To take the door panel off on the front door, you gotta take off this cover here. It's got a little slit here in the corner. You just put your screwdriver behind it, pops right off. Same thing with the cover here. You pretty much just pop it and it comes right off. The one that's kind of hard and it's kind of annoying sometimes is this one. It's easy to get off, but sometimes, and it didn't happen this time, but sometimes these silver clips will come off and they'll stay in here, and then you gotta take them out, and then you gotta kind of bend them to put them on here. So just be careful with them. It's not that hard, it's just, you know, kind of annoying. So then on this one you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 millimeters. So there's one in here. Use your screwdriver with a magnet. There's one up here. There's 2 in here. There's 1 at the bottom. And I'm gonna show you guys how to properly pull this door panel off without effing it all up, because I've done this for the last 5 years doing this kind of work at my job when I work at a Chevy dealership, and I've seen so many of these damn things pulled off the wrong way and they're damaged, and I gotta fix them for them because they don't know what they're doing. So it's really simple on these door panels. It's not hard. Get a bone tool, and you don't even need a bone tool. Just do it with one hand and pull the guy off right there. Same over here. Just grab it from the bottom, pull it off, you know. So that's pretty much it. And on these door panels, they do not go up, and that's the problem I see a lot. People will pull these up and it just damages the clips behind it. You don't gotta do that. You just grab it from here, put your hand right here, put your other hand right here, and just pull. You just gotta be careful. Don't over pull it, because this stays here. The door lock indicator, and if you go too far, you might break it from where it's at. So then you just lift it from here. The door lock indicator will come free. Just grab it, put it in its little spot, and then you come over here to the actual cable. And the cable's real easy. Grab your thumb, and then just, you know, you gotta move the little chingazo out of the way, and then just, you know, slide it out of the way. So those are easy. Same thing with this. There's a red retainer here, like that. You unlock it, and you just push the button, and then undo the lever, and that's it. The door panel comes off. You don't got to damage the door panel. Be smart, work easy. So before I move on to the rear door, we're also gonna take off this what do you call it, splash guard. I'm gonna take off these 2 7s here. Take off this bracket. I'm gonna take this off. It's just held on there with some sticky dum-dum caulking. All right, so let's do the rear door. All right, so the rear door is a little bit different. You don't have to take off this trim piece here, but there's 1 screw behind here, 2 right here, and then 1 at the bottom. So pretty much same exact deal. Same thing, grab it, pull it, and then from this one, just like that. Don't damage the lock. And then right here, same exact thing as the front. And this one you just gotta unplug it. It's a little bit different, but same thing. It's just a plug, connects to the window switch, but same exact process. And then on this one, we'll take off the this piece and this piece the same way we did the front. All right, check it out. So now we're gonna take off the original chrome handles that are on the truck, and we're gonna swap them out for the illuminated door handles. It's actually quite easy. First, you're gonna take off this rubber grommet that covers up the access hole. Now there's the a screw in there. You're not be able to see it, but it's a 7mm, and you don't have to take it off completely. You just have to loosen it. So that's what we're gonna do now. Don't take it off completely. If you take it off completely, it's gonna fall down on the bottom, and you're gonna have a hard time finding it. So let's take it off. That's about good. You don't have to take it off all the way, like I said. And if you're unsure, just take it off little by little, and then until it comes out. And then get the handle out of the way. You can grab this one, and it pops right out. See that? So we're not gonna put the white one in yet. In order to replace the handle itself, this one has to be out of the way. So now we gotta replace the handle. So if you're doing this by yourself, unless you got Timmy, if this doesn't work, because I don't have the special tool, I have it at work and I don't have it here, we're gonna try using a pick. This is like a radiator pick. Put the handle in your pocket, just like that. Then you're gonna pull the handle. You're gonna hold the back side. Let's see here. You're gonna hold the back side, and this is not gonna work. Well, you know what? Let's just do it how you guys would do it at home, and you're gonna struggle. So just pull the handle off, and now you lost it, right? You lost the spring. So the spring has to be pulled while the handle goes in or when it goes out. So right there, we lost the spring kind of went that way. And it's not a big deal. All you gotta do is reach in from the other side, push on the spring towards the outside, and then shove the handle in. And you can see on the handles where they engage the bracket slash spring, or it's like a bracket piece that's spring loaded. So unspring it. How do you say it? Push on the spring, then latch it, and then you'll be fine. So we'll throw these in the trash. Here you go, Timmy. That's your fucking handles. Nah, I'm gonna put these on offer up. All right, so then the wiring is gonna go in through the pocket here, just like that. Same thing with the back portion of the handle, kind of just sinks in there. And then you're gonna rest this right here. We're gonna push the spring from the other side this way, and we're gonna shove the handle on.
5 minutes later.
5 minutes later.
There you go. You see it? All right, so once you push on it, it's kind of hard. So I recommend you do this with 2 people, unless you have the special tool. I'll link the special tool down in the description, as well as all this stuff. The connectors, the wiring, all that stuff. I'm gonna link it down in the description so you guys can do it yourself. The handles, I won't link them because, you know, they come up on eBay and then the link disappears because the listing disappears. So I'm not gonna link those, but they're just regular Cadillac Escalade handles from a, say, 17 through 19 Escalade. So once that's on there, you can let go of it. And there's the handle. So now you can finish up and put the cap on. Now for you guys that don't know or never own an Escalade or have friends that have an Escalade, it does cover up the lock. Damn, look at all that grease I got on me. It does cover up the lock, but this does come off. So if you're in a situation where your batteries are dead, you can pretty much still have access to the lock. So it's not a big deal. But once you repaint one of these once, it does make it a little bit tougher because it has the factory paint and then the white that they paint on top of it. But it's not that big of a deal. Just pop them on just like that and pop them off if you need to. So come in a little bit closer. The screw that we're loosening up here, you can actually see it there. And well, pretty much when you tighten it up, it actually just goes into the nut or threaded in nut portion of the handle cap. So as long as you have it pushed out enough or unthreaded enough, you should be able to put this back in just like that. And then go ahead and tighten up the screw. And that should be good to go. Shouldn't have any issues. They shouldn't rub. It's a really close gap, but it shouldn't rub. Just like the Escalades. All right, so the rear handle is gonna be the same exact process as the front handle. The only difference is gonna be the cap for the rear handle is a little bit different. This one's made out of plastic, and the handles on the Escalades, they're all made out of metal. Now for the front, it doesn't matter because they will work. Excuse me, they will work. But for the rear, it won't. You're gonna have to transfer it, and it's not hard at all. You can see here where the little tab retains it. Just gotta get in between them like that, and you can just pry it out. And we can swap that over to our new Escalade cap. So we're not gonna be using this. We're gonna be using the plastic caps for the rear. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back in, just like that. Just grab your 7mm. Tighten that back up. Don't forget to put your grommet. And now we can move on to the wiring. All right, so check it out. This is the harness that we're gonna be using. This is the little harness we made. It's only about 5.5, 6 feet. That's all you're gonna really need. If you have tow mirrors, your truck is gonna have park lamp circuits located in the door harness. And come here, Timmy, let me show you. So pin 1 will be your park lamp and pin 5 will be ground. Now, if you have DL3 or DL8 mirrors, you will not have a park lamp circuit. You will have the wire there for pin 1, but it's not gonna be for a park lamp, it's gonna be for a puddle lamp, which is a lot different. That's when you hit that lock button, there's a lamp at the bottom of those mirrors that will light up. Completely different. You're not gonna want that. You're gonna want to use park lamp circuits or some other sort of ignition circuit that will have these running when the truck is running. So we want to do them to the park lamp so you can shut them off if you have to, if you want to. That's how we're gonna run it. So if you don't have these circuits, the way you're gonna have to do it is you're gonna have to run wires through the door jamb, through the front of the vehicle, and through the park lamps. So the headlamp or the tail lamp, some sort of park lamp circuit, or just go straight to the underhood fuse block and get it from there. And you're gonna have to run some of those terminals that we're gonna be running in the rear. So we'll show you guys those. You're gonna need more. It's just gonna be one more for each door. The ground, you can still use this ground. You're just gonna have to find a park lamp circuit. So we're gonna run this in the door. You gotta be very careful to avoid any window channels, any window regulators. What's up? What are you seeing over there? What's up, Lassie? What's going on?
Little detail. It took like 10 hours to detail.
Detailing the car took 10 hours, man. We put handles on this truck faster than this. We'll detail the car. Anyways, so the wiring, avoid any moving parts. So remember, there's a window here, there's a window regulator, there's the channel that you need to avoid. All right, so I just finished wiring up the wiring there, or routing the wiring. You can see where the handle wiring comes down, follows the door handle cable, connects right there. I zip tied it to the cable. Then it goes around the window channel, followed by going down this way. And then you just start following the harness, the OEM door harness behind this. Be very careful to avoid any cables like this one here. And yeah, just keep routing it up until you get to this point. Then we're gonna pass it right through here over the top, and you're gonna tap into the wires like I was saying earlier. Terminal 1 is gonna be your park lamp, and terminal 5 is gonna be your ground. Pretty much just cut the insulation off the wire. Don't cut the wire itself, and then just wrap the wire that you're gonna use from our LED handles. Wrap it around and then use some solder. Then cover it with some electrical tape, and then cover it all with electrical tape so it's nice and tight, and we'll avoid some water intrusion. All right, before I put the door panel back on, always make sure to check the lighting and make sure it actually works. Hard to see, but it is on before you put the door panel on, because you don't want to take it back off if you did something wrong. So just a little tip. All right, so now I'm working on the rear door. The front door is already done. And like I was saying before, if you don't have tow mirrors and you need to run wires through the door jamb, this is going to help you figure out the same exact process. So we're doing it for the rear doors because this door obviously doesn't have any mirrors. There shouldn't be any mirrors on the rear doors. And we're going to have to run wiring, or at least one circuit for the park lights through the door jamb, and then down, routed down this way on the B-pillar, through the sill plate, and then forward over there to the kick panel where there's a circuit that we could tap into. So the first thing you want to do is take off the top here. Then you got to push over the purple guy and pull it just like that. And since we got to get a hold of this guy because we're going to run a wire through it, we're going to go ahead and push this guy through just like that. We're going to take off these trims, and as well as the seal plate on both the front and the rear of this driver's side. So Timmy, take off the seal plate on the kick panel. So these are actually really easy. Timmy has no idea what he's doing. Look, he has no idea what he's doing. Come on, Timmy, you can pull it off. All right, so there's that. Pop straight up. Pull this guy out. And grab this guy. Put him to the side. Drop it. Don't tell the owner. Marvel at the American Force wheels. How much were those wheels, Timmy? You haven't told me yet. It's been a while already.
Oh,
3 grand, 4 grand?
huh?
More than 4,000?
Yeah.
More than 4,000 for those rims? 6,000.
Somewhere around there.
Whoa, we'll pay 6 grand for these rims.
You gotta pay to play.
What are you playing? What game is this, man? The Quachi game?
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, so once you take this B-pillar trim off, see this guy here? This is the connector we're gonna tap into. We're gonna add a terminal. Like I was saying before at the start of this video, you're gonna need some terminals. And we're gonna need a total of 2 of these kind, 1 for each rear door. Same thing with the opposite side. It's gonna be this female, 1 for each rear door. Now if you're adding this circuit like we were talking about for the front doors, then you're gonna need another set of 2 and 2. So it's not that hard. You're gonna have to run the terminals, put them in place, and this is the way you're gonna do it if you want your vehicle to be reliable. If you don't want that, run some wires through here, drill a hole, make it Mickey Mouse, do whatever you want, but I didn't recommend doing it that way. I'm recommending doing it the OEM way. Put the terminals in the cavities where they belong, and you won't have any issues. It's gonna be a sweet solid mod. My truck has gone 75,000 miles, and I've never had issues with my handles, so just do it right. It's gonna be hard to see, but this is a terminal, a female terminal that we're using that's gonna go in the door side of the connector. But before we do that, we're gonna add some wire. You're gonna probably need about 1.5 feet. So go ahead and solder the wire to the terminal, and then we'll go ahead and route that through the door jamb harness. All right, so a 7mm holds this speaker in place. You just wanna take it out and move the speaker out of the way. Then you're gonna wanna take off the window channel on the forward side of the door. Just 2 10s, and then you pretty much reach in there and pull this guy out. So remember how this goes, pretty simple. The wide end goes upwards, so that's where the window slides into. So once that's out of the way, you can go ahead and pull the grommet through just like that. Then you're gonna want to use your screwdriver and push the clips in. You don't want to damage them because you want to reuse them. Same thing with this guy. Just like that, push them through. And now the this guy should be free. So once you have the door harness out of the way, the easiest way to run this wire through this grommet is using a straw. It's actually pretty simple. Put the wire through the straw, and that's pretty much it. The wire comes out to the side, pull the straw out, and whoa, there it is. Boom. All right, so you're gonna want to run this terminal into an empty cavity. Just make sure that there's an empty cavity on the door side and on the body side. You know, you don't want to run it on the wrong side because then you're gonna have to run a new wire. So make sure you pop this out of the way just like that. And you gotta put it in. So I'm gonna use one of the empty slots at the very bottom on both of the connectors. They're empty, so I'm just gonna run the most bottom one. So in order to run the terminal in there, you gotta unlock. There's a retainer. You push this in just a little bit, and then you can push the terminal in. And you'll feel it lock into place. Then push the retainer, the lock back in, and that's it. Pull the wire through so there's no, it's not, you know, have too much play or have too much excess wiring. Once the wiring is in the connector, route the wiring and follow the harness until it comes out near the switch connector, which is going to be this guy here, and that's where we're going to hook up our positive for our LED on our handle. Now the negative for the LED on the handle is going to go to the negative on the switch. So because this is a large gauge wire, we don't recommend you cut it. Just strip it and wrap the wiring from the ground for your LED handle around the wiring, and then just give it a little bit of solder, and then just cover it up nice and tight with some electrical tape. I'm going to go ahead and solder the positive and positive, negative and negative. Put this harness back through the grommet, push it through, and then we'll work on the body side of the harness. After you got your wiring all hooked up, make sure you put this window channel back in. Don't forget, because when you pull the window down, you roll it down, and this is not in there, it's going to come off the track. So just make sure to put that back on. All right, all you Taquachis, this is the second time I do this. Before you put the door panel on, put on the goddamn plate. I keep forgetting to put the plate on, and then when I put the door panel on, there's nothing to screw the door panel to, so don't forget the plate. All right, so the door is pretty much done. I got it all bolted back up together. Door panel's on there. Now we're gonna focus on the body side of the connector. The connector, as we loosened up earlier, we have access to it here, and we're gonna have to run this terminal in the connector. So let's double check where we did the other half. So we did it on pin 3, it looks like, and we're gonna do the same thing on this side, pin 3, which is gonna be that one of the lower ones there. All right, so in order to put the terminal on the connector, remember to unlock the connector. Then you should be able to insert the terminal right here. There we go. Then we'll lock the terminal back up by pushing on the opposite side, and then that's it. Put the connector back in the door jamb, pop it in just like that. Get your connector from your door and put the connector back on. So that's it. So then the wiring, what we're gonna do is we're gonna run it all the way to the front underneath the seal plate here. We're gonna go ahead and start pushing it underneath. We'll route it underneath the carpet a little bit, like this. Then we'll put it right in this crevice between this wiring harness housing and the body. So we'll just push that in there just like that, all the way to the front. So pretty much the door handle install is just about done. All the handles work except for the left rear. And all you gotta do is hook up this wire to the park lamp circuit. Now if you guys remember, the park lamp circuit in the driver door is present. So what we're gonna do is remove the connector from the body side, pull it over here, solder the terminal or solder the wire onto the circuit for the park lamps, and then just put everything back. So we'll do that right now, and that will be it for the install on these illuminated door handles. What do you think, Timmy?
Looks badass.
If you guys are interested in these door handles, I'll leave links for all the other stuff except for the handles. The handles, you can find them on eBay. That's where you bought yours. That's where I bought mine too. They're kind of expensive from the dealer, but if you can find a whole set from eBay, just make sure they're the illuminated ones, because there's also non-illuminated Escalade handles out there, which there's no reason to want those, because you won't have the main reason we have these handles, and it's the LED. I'll link all the rest of the stuff, the wiring, the connectors, the solder that I use, probably not the tools, but just a lot of basic stuff you're gonna need for this install. All right, so pretty much to get these connector off, it's gonna be just like the rear. You pop that off, Take this guy off, pull it out, just like that. Then you're gonna push this guy in from these two tabs right here. Push it in, and that's it. And then you're gonna go underneath here with your parking brake engaged all the way to the floor. You should have enough room to pull the connector this way. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and get your wiring that comes from your left rear door. And I did the same exact thing on the opposite side, passenger side. So same exact process. And I went to terminal 11 on the body connector that goes at the door jamb. So terminal 11 is your park lamp circuit, and you just tie into that, and that's it. You got power and ground to that rear door, and you should be done. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up with some electrical tape, put it back where it goes, put all the plastics back, and we'll give you guys some night footage. Night shots? What do you call it? Night shots. Give you guys some night shots. So pretty cool overall. What do you say we're in it? 5-6 hours?
Like 5-6 hours, yeah.
5-6 hours of work. And this is coming from someone who takes his cars apart for a living. It definitely is a lot of work. So if you're up to the challenge, go for it. If you're not, I guess find somebody like me to do it, because it's a lot of work. So I'm gonna finish it up, wrap it up, and we'll give you guys some nice shots of the truck. It's a badass truck, 3500 Silverado. What do we got on it? American Force wheels. He's repping the shirt.
American Force, 4-inch CST.
4-inch CST suspension.
Horn blasters.
Horn blasters, Fox shocks. Frankie's Customs on the handles. Oh, the Switch Pros, because Switch Pros rocks. And we have all the wiring on the Switch Pros. If you haven't seen that video, we did the Switch Pros install, right, Timmy? That came out clean. And yeah, we got the horn. You got the horn blasters, the spare wheel delete. This truck is pretty badass. Definitely only a single guy can own this shit, because I can't afford this fucking truck. All right. All right, so next day we just ate some hamburgers. Timmy, let's go check out these lights and see what the old Chevy has done. And just for comparison, here's my 1500, and that's mine. Different look, front end's different, but Timmy's truck is just on another level with the lighting, because he's got the roof mounted clearance lights and just a bunch of differences. So let's go check out the 2500. Hit the button, give it to us, Timmy. Oh fuck! Turn on the what do you call it? The light bar also lights up on this truck. If you guys seen previous videos when we did the rock lights and the Switch Pros, that looks badass. When you see that coming down the street, you think it's a goddamn semi-trailer with all them LEDs. And now with the handles on there, it just changes the game, man. This thing looks crazy. Now this work done by me, of course. Timmy was my helper. Nothing like those handles though. Who else has those handles, Timmy?
Pretty much nobody.
Nobody, just me. And I rocked them exclusively for about 2 years. And Timmy said he needed them, and he's going to the truck shows and stuff, so I said let's do it. And there they are. Fuck, those look badass, dude. Alright, it's not the video's not over. Timmy messed up. I wanted the full effect. Here's the rock lights too. We did a rock lights video. I'll link that in the bottom too. Oh, that looks sick. You can't do them like amber, huh? Oh yeah, right there. Jamaican, homie. Yeah, that looks badass, dude. Blue, match the X3.